Hello everyone, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. So today again, I Nidhi Mishra welcome you all to Amit Sinha IS Academy, which is an online platform. So I am here today with the topic globalization and social change, the impact of globalization on Indian society, right? Why I have taken this topic? Because it is one topic which is relevant both in GS as well as in sociology. It's one topic around which questions are almost framed every year, right? So we need to understand that what is globalization. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so globalization. So we need to understand here that is globalization only means interconnectedness. Is it only the social relationship? Is it only about the networking? Or is it beyond it? So we need to understand that globalization is just not the global interconnections, right? It is beyond it. We need to understand with our sociological imagination, little bit away from commonsensical understanding, that globalization has certain impact on our society. And it brings structural change also in society, right? So let's see, because it may not be asked that what is globalization, right? The things would be asked that what are the changes that globalization is bringing today. For example, the impact of COVID-19. Today each and every country is bearing its burden. Why? Because it is of globalization, right? And presently we are in fact in post-globalized phase, right? So it is because of this crisis situation, is because of this interconnectedness, right? Which has brought so many changes in our society. See, you may see it in economic terms, how COVID-19 has impacted, right? It is leading to unemployment, but it is at the same time, I would say, it is leading to recession. Recession से cessation हो रहा है. So you may need to understand that globalization as a process affects the various stratas, affects the various structures of the society. So what is the large structure of the society? The economic structure, right? The social structure, the political structure. ये जो ढांचे हैं, इनके अंदर भी बहुत सारे चेंजेस आते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सोशल स्ट्रक्चर में ये कल्चर को इम्पैक्ट करता है, ये हमारे इंटरेक्शन को इम्पैक्ट करता है, ये हमारे जेंडर को इम्पैक्ट करता है. सो वी सी दैट इट अफेक्ट्स the varied structure of the society. So we need to understand that globalization is just not the process of being interconnected, but it is rather more beyond it. It is rather more about understanding the social changes being brought up by the process of globalization. So we will understand in terms of the changes, right? So let's first start with the economic structure, that how globalization has impacted the economic structure. See, globalization is largely related and being associated with the process of economic reforms, which has been taken up in India in 1990s, right? That is the liberalization policy, right? So because of this liberalization policies, see, as the rules have been relaxed, and so the international players were actually introduced in the Indian market. Now one question I would like to pose here, that you need to answer, and you also need to question yourself, that is this globalization new to India? If you go through the NCERT books or any other books, you would see that the culture of India, or India, this term for India, this term globalization, is not that new. Even in our in ancient period or in our past, we have been quite internationally interconnected. See the example of Silk Route and all the controversy with India and China, what is being taken up and what is happening today. So the process of globalization, today we are actually experiencing it in a new form, but the term particularly globalization is not that absolutely new to India, okay? We are experiencing it in a different way, right? Because of the policies of liberalization, the economic liberalization policies, which actually eased the restrictions, which actually removed the restrictions from trading practices, and which actually led to the establishment of various international players in India. Right? That is why we see Nike here. Right? That is why we see Mitsubishi. That is why we started using that time Mitsubishi pen. So that was the era, that was the time during 1990s, which actually led to the establishment of many international companies in India. So it is not, this economic reform has not only led to the coming up of international market players in India, rather we need to understand here that how certain sectors of our society were being little bit ignored. For example, the social sector. For example, the education, health, such kind of public services have been ignored. Because globalization, this process also sustains through capitalism, through the economic mode of production named capitalism. Because it survives on it. Because it survives on mass production. The more you produce, the more you earn. The more you produce, the more you sell, the more you earn, right? So it needs market, and that is why you expand yourself, in order to sell your product. So we need to understand that this liberalization policy, which has been introduced in India, it has not only led to economic reforms and changed the economic structure, but at the same time, certain areas, certain sections, certain sectors of our society have been ignored. For example, public service, for example, health, education, where government used to invest, that has been ignored. Okay, another impact, what was that? The impact was establishment of transnational companies, the international market players. Okay. Now, it also led to the introduction of electronic economy. Electronic economy, with the click of one mouse, you are actually controlling the market. With a click of one mouse, you are transferring the money from one place to another, from one account to another. Right? Electronic economy, that you go to ATM, it's a box where you immediately get the cash. So we have moved to such kind of system where the life has been so easy for few. It has been such at ease for few that with a click of one mouse, you are able to control the market and you are able to improve your life chances. Right? It has also led to knowledge economy. Right? Now the focus is not all the time is on, for example, or you say the workforce is not all the time involved in production process, or leading to products. Rather than the workforce is involved in designing, in programming, in developing how you actually enhance the marketability, right? So workforce is involved in during globalization into knowledge economy. आप अपने दिमाग की खाते हैं, केवल आप अपने स्किल की नहीं खाते हैं, आप अपने दिमाग से भी काम करते हैं और उससे you also rise. For example, the rise of multinational companies, the software engineers, right? और event managers, कि हम event manage कर लेते हैं, और rather जो कि हमारा the process जो कि पंडितों का पहले हुआ करता था, शादी ब्याह को ऑर्गेनाइज कराना या एक उनकी मेल मिलाप करना वर वधू के परिवार से, ये अब कौन करता है, right? So that is also globalized. You can see n number of advertisement, right, regarding this marriage bureau. Okay, so that is the effect of globalization. Globalization of finance. What is globalization of finance? Throughout the day, for 24 hours, you can transfer money from one account to another account. You are into business, you are into trade throughout the time. आप Amazon पे अगर आपको कुछ ऑर्डर करना है तो आपको सोचना नहीं है कि रात के 12 बज रहे हैं, मैं अभी करूँ या ना करूँ, आप आराम से कर लेते हैं, right? So this is the economic measures, this economic measure which has been taken in 1990s, and these are the changes which were brought in the economic structure. But we also need to understand that this economic reforms, so has also brought collateral damage. collateral damage to the people who are at the fringes. It has led to more and more inequality, the more graded inequality, the more intense inequality in the society. So think it in this way also. That is what is sociological imagination. That you just not look onto on the superficial level, rather you go beneath it. You go beneath it, and you understand that how it has led to more and more inequality in the society. And the poor people are now, they are termed as unwelcome byproduct of globalization, right? So this unwelcome byproduct of globalization are relegated to more on the fringes. Who are the unwelcome byproduct? The poor, the homeless people in asylum, refugees. So they are all relegated to the fringes. Okay, so this is what is collateral damage. Collateral damage to the people who are on the fringe. They are relegated to the more on the boundaries, so that the rich people should not get affected by these people, right? So globalization has led to stark inequality in society. किसी के पास बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा है, किसी के पास बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. Okay. Then we see globalization has also led to new division of labor. During industrialization, what has happened? That society was, or the economic production was more of Fordism kind. Okay, what is Fordism? Fordism is centralized location of production. आप एक ही जगह काम, वर्कफोर्स एक जगह इन्वॉल्व रहता था. उनको टाइम लिमिट दिया हुआ है, इतने देर में इतने प्रोडक्ट्स निकाल देने हैं, ठीक है. कन्वेयर बेल्ट पे काम होता था, ना, नंबर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स वर फिक्स्ड, दैट a worker has to produce this much of product, right? So the production was centralized. You had to move to the factory and to look into the production process. But now what has happened? It has led to new division of labor. We are into post-Fordism. You are working day and night. आपको आज भी target set है. You have to complete this much of work, but the place is changed. Either you sit in the office and do the work, or you come back home, open your laptop and work from your laptop, right? So the point is that you are now you are working day and night, right? So we are into post-Fordism phase, where you have no leisure time, you have no time to, no free time for yourself to think that what extra you can do to enhance yourself. So there is no such concept, right? So it's a kind of new division of labor. Okay, and Giddens, the very famous sociologist, says it is actually the feature is of high modernity. Globalization leads to high modernity, and he says that because of the development of information and technology, because of the interconnectedness of technology, because of the interconnectedness of knowledge all across the world, what has actually happened? It has actually led to the compression of time and space. ठीक है, आज आप यहाँ बैठे रहते हैं, आप कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं यूएस में अपने किसी भी रिलेटिव के साथ एनी टाइम, राइट? बिकॉज ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटरनेट स्पीड, राइट? सो इट हैज़ ऑल्सो लेड टू द compression of time and space. आप सोचते नहीं हैं कि कब फ़ोन करना है, नहीं करना है, या कोई इतना मीलों दूर बैठा है, आप उससे कम्युनिकेट कर लेते हैं, राइट? So that it has led to establishment of your social relation. But as Giddens says, it has also led to time-space distanciation. Giddens, famous sociologist, says it has also led to time-space distanciation. Now, what is this time-space distanciation? It is very important. What is happening in one corner of the world is impacting all across the world, is impacting the people all across the world. It is actually diminishing the national boundary. यूएस में कोई रेसिस्ट अटैक होता है, वो इम्पैक्ट करता है इंडिया के कास्ट सिस्टम पे, और वेरियस अदर incidents which are taking place in India. So we start relating it. We start also, giving our responses to it. Whatever is happening in America, whatever is happening, any kind of such incident happening anywhere in a distant world, it is also affecting the people of the another corner of the world. right? So that is what is time-space distanciation, right? That the national boundaries are less significant now because you're so much connected to the people with the internet world. You may not know the people, you know, who are being affected by such kind of social atrocities, but still you connect to them, right? For example, the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. This has actually, this has actually impacted the people all across the world, and people are coming together to look for justice. So that is what is time-space distanciation. So this was the larger economic impact. Now when we see, because these are all happening because of the development of global communication, right? So information technology has enhanced, increased, right? Today in COVID-19 crisis period, we can see that this information technology has been great relief for some, because the education is taking place with this help only. I and me, both of us, me or any other, or on any other platform, the education is going on because of this enhancement of global communication. We all are, you and me are talking, and I'm presenting myself to you because of this connection only, because of this global communication only. But understand this has also led to digital divide in India. We see that अब कोई डिवाइड नहीं है, अब तो गांव में भी टीवी है, गांव में भी फ़ोन है, गांव में भी इंटरनेट है, तो अब ये डिजिटल डिवाइड जो है वो वैनिश कर रहा है. But I would say no, and especially you can see in this present time, in this COVID crisis time, that the stark difference is still there, that digital divide is still there. A student coming from lower economic background, he or she may have just one smartphone. How he or she would continue his or her studies? And the kind of internet speed we are having in metropolitan cities, is it same in the rural areas? Is it same somewhere in the hilly areas? No, right? So that we need to understand. Though undoubtedly the enhancement, the development of information technology, the global communication has actually compressed time and space, right? But at the same time, it has also led to time-space distanciation. That yes, you are connected, you are compressed. You can talk to your distant relative staying somewhere in America or somewhere in Japan, but you are also affected not by those people, but also by such incidents which are localized somewhere in the world, right? So because of this global communication, we see that there has been larger impact on culture. Culture is largely impacted. How it has been impacted? Culture, now there has been a debate largely that whether globalization has led to homogenization of culture or localization of culture. So globalization of culture is actually mixing the international trade with the traditional art forms, right? And this is basically for more and more marketability, right? For example, the very famous example, McDonald's selling not any beef product in India, they are just selling chicken product in India. Why? Because they want to cater to the Indian people, right? So, but why they want to cater to Indian people? Is it they are more associated with Indian? No, because they want to earn more and more profit. Understand that globalization sustains on profit motive, right? So that is what is globalization. You actually mix, you actually change yourself according to the local need. The international motive, the international market actually change according to the local customer, the need of the local customer. That is globalization, right? Multinational companies celebrating Deepavali, right? Celebrating Deepavali in a very traditional form is what? It is also globalization. That you are catering to the needs, the desire, the actual traditional art forms of the very local culture. So you are catering to such needs, right? The emotions, you are actually playing along with the emotions, right? So that is what is homogenization and globalization. Homogenization is you are becoming more same alike, look alike kind, that we all are looking same because of the interconnectedness. That is what is homogenization. It has also led to corporate culture because of the establishment of TNCs, transnational companies, the various other multinational software companies. It has led to a specific kind of culture. The corporate culture, the high-flying professionals, they have different kind of life chances. No doubt, their class position has changed. No doubt, people from lower middle class have moved to higher middle class or to higher class. But see, their life is very, very stressful. They are day and night working. Why? Because we are in post-Fordism phase. आप सुबह उठते हैं, ब्रश किए नहीं, आपका टारगेट फिक्स है, मुझे इतने कस्टमर को केटर करना है. You just open your laptop and you are brushing your teeth and you are just looking into the target which you actually have to fulfill. So this is what is corporate culture. You are celebrating many things. You are celebrating many festivals in quite a pompous way, but at the same time you are more and more burdened with your time limit. You are more and more burdened with your work, because now there has been mixing of your public life and private life. Right? You have no free time at home. You have no free leisure time at home. Right. So that is what is corporate culture. These high-flying professionals are actually leading a very stressful life. Okay. Now, culture of consumption. Yes, culture of consumption. जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. So we are, because of for profit earning, because of marketability, to enhance marketability, we are now into such kind of consumption pattern, where we want to show off, where we want to actually flaunt our social position. आप बड़े बड़े शादी में जाते हैं, ठीक है, और वहाँ आप दूल्हा दुल्हन को देखने के बजाय, है ना, हम गाड़ियों को देखते हैं कि कौन सी गाड़ी लगी हुई है, राइट, पोर्शे लगी हुई है या ऑडी लगी हुई है. So it is actually that show off. So culture of consumption, you are consuming much beyond your need. Culture of consumption is the term which is given by Veblen. So he says that we are more into flaunting in order to show off, in order to enhance our social status, social position, right? So we are more into this. We are actually acquiring more and more in order to show off. We are, we are consuming much beyond our basic need. So that is what it has led to culture of consumption. More and more advertisement, more and more sale of product. So it has also led to this process globalization. It has also led to decline of indigenous craft. Right? Now in post-globalization era, in post-globalized phase, after reading so many literature, coming in contact with varied forms of writing from various scholars across the world, we have developed this consciousness, this conscience that our traditional art and craft is equally important. But remember, the way British